Alysia. She is a fabulous both real estate investor, real estate agent. And the best part about it is she's 23 years old. Like literally 23-year-old who dropped out of college and built a 7-figure real estate business, which is insane because I don't know about you, but at 23, I was definitely not doing that. I was getting drunk at the bar still. So welcome to the show, Alysia. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited.
Well, so Alysia, can you tell everyone kind of like who was Alysia before the real estate business, before the entrepreneurial side? Who was Alysia?
Yeah. So before I became a real estate agent, I was actually homeschooled. So I was homeschooled since second grade. And I did school through the summers and I ended up graduating high school a little early at 15. And I went straight into college and I was always really super into technology and stuff like that. So I decided to go into computer science because one, it was something interesting that I wanted to learn about. And two, I figured I'd have job security. You know, it's like tech was the way of the future with AI and cybersecurity and all that. So I was going into computer science and into technology. And then I had won a ticket to a business event. And that completely changed the course of my life and where I was going and what I wanted to do. Because for the first time, being in the room with these entrepreneurs and business owners, I was introduced to new concepts that I had never even heard of before and a whole new world of the possibilities that are out there and not just working a 9-to-5. And so that kind of encouraged me to come back, drop out of college, even though I was super scared. But for me, it wasn't too much of a risk because I was ahead. So, I told myself, all right, I'll do 2 years of building a business. And if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to college. I'll still graduate on time with all my friends. I could afford to take that 2-year break. And if it does work out, I won't go back to college. And so that's kind of what started everything for me was that event. And it's safe to say I did not have to go back to college. And it worked out. And here we are 5 years later. And it kind of grew into something bigger than I ever thought it would. And so that's really cool. But that's kind of, I was a very different person before, I became me today, right? It was a very scarcity mindset, very I had social anxiety, couldn't really talk to anybody, didn't have crazy dreams and ambitions. People ask me what my dream job is. I was like, to not work. It wasn't. I didn't have a dream job. I was going to computer science for job security and to pay the bills, not because I loved it or anything.
Totally.
And so I was kind of going through the motions and but finding this and finding real estate just lit a passion inside of me and kind of changed everything for me. It turned my health around. I got mentors and teachers and I learned and I stepped out of my comfort zone and I love networking and talking to people and building relationships. And it's, yes, it was a business and I built a 7-figure real estate business, but it's not just business. It helped me grow as a person from where I was to where I am now.
No, and that's so true. Because people don't realize the personal development journey you go on once you become an entrepreneur. It's out of control. It's out of this world. I feel like, people can probably not equate it, but, whenever people have kids for the first time, I feel like they also go through this giant personal development journey. That's how I feel like I'm going through, with this whole real estate investing journey and entrepreneurship journey that I started a few years ago. It's your mind just completely changes. And the thoughts that you used to have, the things that you used to believe was fact is just not the case. And I love what you said too about how the fact that before you didn't have a dream job in mind. And I think that's so many people, they're I just want to not work, right? I want to go chill on a beach and do absolutely nothing. But it's so funny too with business because you can get to that point where you can do that. But most people choose not to because they actually find something that they're super passionate about and they want to do for many, many more years to come.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all right, now it doesn't feel like work, right? It's okay, I've built something that I actually really enjoy. I make money to pay the bills. However, I feel like I'm really, doing something fulfilling in my life. And then I get to help a lot of people and it's fun for me. So I don't feel like I'm working. So there's no like, oh, I'm ready to quit or I'm, I just want to go chill on the beach. But with my job, I can go chill on the beach and work if I want to.
Yep.
So it's just it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It was worth the 5 years of really hard work.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so you graduated high school at 15, you said.
Yes.
What was that like starting college so young, right? Because I'm guessing most people were probably at least 17, 18 years old. Like how was that? And how did you navigate that at such an early age?
Yes, it was definitely weird being the youngest one. There, I was the youngest one in my class and it was interesting because everybody's reactions would be like, wait, you're 15? Because I carried myself like I was a lot older, like through conversation and everything. And so they didn't realize how young I was. But when I'd go up a conversation, they were like, what? 15? Like, what? How are you in college right now? And then I just tell them like, hey, I was homeschooled and, I went through the summers. Like, I try to downplay it a little bit just because it's like, I didn't want to like completely be an outsider.
Right.
And so I think, just like, oh, I just went through the summers. Like, it's not a big deal. But yeah, it was an adjustment for sure. I didn't really socialize too much with them because it was like, all right, these are people that some of them are older enough to be going to bars and, like,
at 15,
my
not quite
license
so
yet.
much.
It was a little bit of adjustment, but it was fun, honestly, to like kind of blow people's minds every once in a while. But
completely. I mean, I remember even when I met you, I was like, wait, you're 23. Like, you do carry yourself a lot older. And I think, part of that comes from kind of getting through school so quickly, right? Like it's you kind of like skipped some of those steps and stages, which I think is really cool. And, there's a pro and con to all of it. So I absolutely love that. A question that I do have for you is, you said you went to an event and I love, because I feel like we kind of bond on this story too, because I went to a real estate event and I was like, my mind is blown. I am quitting my job like in 2 weeks, putting in my 2 weeks notice. I'm done. Right. And you kind of like not with work, but with school, we're like, okay, I'm dropping out. So tell me a little bit about how you even won tickets to this event. What was the event, the whole experience? Just kind of like outline that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually just scrolling Instagram, which is really funny because I'd say two of my biggest turning points in my career stem from scrolling Instagram. So they say it's bad for you, but hey,
oh, for sure.
It helped my business extremely. So completely changed the course of my life. But yeah, this particular one, I was scrolling Instagram and I came across a guy named Ty Lopez and he was giving away doing a giveaway of tickets to this event called the Elevator Bootcamp in Hollywood, California. I had no idea what it was. I typically don't participate in giveaways. I was 16 going on 17. No, I was 17. I was 17. I just turned 17. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I felt inclined to do it. So I did. I entered the giveaway and sure enough, I won a ticket. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Only problem was the event was the next day. I live in Colorado. This is in California and it's the next night. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to get there? So I told her, I'm like, hey, I want to take to the event. She's like, what is it? I'm like, I'm not completely sure. Something about business. I just want to go. And we have family in California. She's like, well, let's rent a car. We'll drive through the night. We can stay with our family in California. You can go to the event. I'm like, all right, cool. So we did. We drove through the night, and we made it. Got a little bit of sleep before I had to go to the event. And I went and it was a red carpet event and then red carpet out. And it seemed like a big deal. I'm like, what did I get myself into? What is this? And again, I'm 17. So I have braces still. I'm the youngest.
Oh my gosh. I love
that. There.
That's amazing.
So I have no idea what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden people just, because it's a networking event, so people start coming up to me and talking to me and it's like, hey, what do you do? Like, I'm a real estate investor or I'm in e-commerce, and they're like millionaires and they're business owners. And I'm like, I'm in college. I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I just want a ticket. And so, but they absolutely like blew my mind with just how like giving they were with information and inspiring and just talking to people in the audience. And then the speakers were absolutely incredible. Just two in particular really spoke to me. It was Ed Milet and Lewis Howes.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I would have appreciated the fact that I was in their presence, but I had no idea who they were at the time.
Yeah. Because they're big dogs. They are.
Oh yeah. They're big. I had no idea. I was whoa, these speakers are awesome. I don't know who they are, but they're amazing. Now I would kill to see them again live. But yeah, they, it was crazy because Ed Milet came out and then everybody just, the energy changed in the room. Everybody stood up. Everybody was clapping. And then he just came in and just hit a home run with this speech. I was left like shocked and inspired.
What was the speech about?
It was all about just like not limiting yourself and, becoming the best version of you and not playing small and, going out there, having the energy and just making a difference, making an impact and, not settling. Right.
Yeah,
and so it was like, I like stood up and like clapped with everybody else. And I'm like, all right.
Like we're in this.
I'm like, I'm motivated. I am pumped. I don't know what just happened, but I like it.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that and they were just, Lewis House had a similar thing going on, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. I want to become a business owner. Like, I want to speak on stage. I want to do these things. And so, I came back from the event, and they had an after party that I couldn't go to because it's 21 plus. But they had I forget who it was, but they had a famous DJ even DJing. Apparently, it was a big deal. But I couldn't go. That's okay. But I came back from the event and I was like, all right, I'm dropping out of college. I was like, I've never been this pumped about computer science. I'm like,
and no one is ever that pumped about computer science.
No, you're not. So I can thank Ed Milet for that one.
So I guess what did your friends think about like when you dropped out of college? Like, did you get any reactions there? Anything like that?
Actually, no. A lot of my friends were pretty supportive of it. I mean, they knew I was ahead. I was 17 with 3 years of college under my belt. I really wasn't taking too much of a risk. And because I gave myself, the agreement of the 2 years, like, hey, if I don't build something great in 2 years, but it's not. Looking back at it, that's not a lot of time.
Right.
But in my mind back then, I'm like, all right, 2 years. And I got to work and it paid off. But yeah, my friends were really supportive of it just because I think if I didn't have that gap in time of like, okay, I'm already so far ahead. If I take a little bit of time to pursue something else, if it doesn't work out, I'm still on track with everybody else if I come back to computer science.
Yeah, that's good. So mine was a little different where I just realized that if I didn't quit now, it was going to be so much harder to do it later down the line because I would then have, potentially a family and kids and like giant mortgage and all this other stuff, right? Where I'm like, would I be willing to take the risk later down the line versus now, which like at that time, it was just me and my dog. I was house hacking, so I was living for free anyways. I was like, this is literally the perfect time to just like jump and do it.
There you go.
But I think people do get a little bit worried about it like later on in life. They're like, well, I'm already so much older. But there's so many people and there's so many examples of people who have gotten started at 35, 45, 55, 60 years old and have finally like done it and built their dream. And they're like, I should have started this so much longer, like, or so much earlier, it's just like, it's never too late. Just start.
It's very true. I mean, I would say the number one comment I get all the time when people find out my age and like everything that I'm doing, especially if they're older, it's like every single time they're like, man, if I would have known what you've known at your age, and if I would have done this at your age, I'm like, that doesn't mean you can't do it. And so I tell them, I'm like, think about this for a second. I built it in 2 years. 2 years. Do you have 2 years of your life left? I think so. Mm-hmm. It took 2 years to change the course of my life. And I think people get stuck on how young I am. and the age that I did that, and not the time that it took to build it from zero.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't daddy's money. It wasn't like I had a stash of money or inheritance or anything like that. I started with zero because it was like, and built my way up in 2 years. And now 5 years later, I have a 7-figure real estate business. It's like,
I love it.
It doesn't take a lot of time. So even if you're older, it doesn't matter because you can build something, you know, in 2 years. Like,
right. And so you just have to focus. You literally just have to like sit down, buckle up and get to work. So I guess, why don't you tell, you know, you said you literally started from zero. So like, how did you start your real estate business? Where is it? Like, how did it grow and develop over time? And then where is it at now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I did was get enough money to obtain my real estate license, which is about, it's about $1,200 to $1,500, you know, all startup costs, right? And so really, I just did odd jobs. Nothing exciting, nothing glamorous. I walked dogs. I house sat. I babysat. You know, I helped. I was a mother's helper where I'd help like moms around the house with laundry or dishes and with their kid. And so I just, you know, did whatever I could. Even then, it's kind of funny even thinking back then. I didn't realize it, but I was already not in the employee mindset because I was out trying to find my own business. You know, like. You know, I was doing it on a small scale, but yeah, it was like, all right, how many dogs do I need to walk? How many houses do I need to like, you know, watch for people while they're out of town? You know, I watched after chickens and horses and all kinds of stuff, right? You know, so I got really creative with like little odd jobs and they pay really well. You know, people love their animals. They love their kids, but they'll pay you way more to take care of their animals, which is really interesting.
Yeah, but that is so true. Because I mean, I think about sometimes when I have to leave my dog with a dog sitter, sometimes if it's sitting, it's like $50 to $60 a day. Like, and for babysitting a lot of the time, it's like a lot less than that, you know?
Oh yeah. Yep. You get paid way more to take care of animals than you do kids. However, I just did it all. Any work that people would give me, I'd take it. And so that's where I saved up, you know, my money over time to where it's like, okay, now I can get my real estate license. You know, and then the first Airbnb I started was in the house of my family, like where I lived. You know, it was because my mom and I got a real estate license together. And then it was like, all right, we have a house with a unfinished walkout basement. We finished the basement. The way we, you know, did that money wise was my dad. We did a lot of the work ourselves. You know, we were down there doing the flooring and the paint and the drywall and the drywall mudding and the texturing and all of that. We did a lot of it ourselves. So, finished our basement. It was completely separate entrance and they had a little kitchenette down there and a bathroom and bedroom. And it was a very cute little space. And then we put that on Airbnb. It rented out 100% of the time. Then we started, that's when another time scrolling Instagram, met my mentor. I found her account. I started following her, sent her a message. I was like, hey, you're living the lifestyle that I want to live. Will you teach me? And she's, yes. She flew out to Colorado.
Okay. Before you so what, you know, maybe you don't remember exactly what the message was, but like, was the message really that simple? Like, hey, can you mentor me? I love that.
No, I was super, I mean, you also got like, I was 18 when I sent this message. Like I hadn't really learned professionalism or business etiquette.
Right.
So I just sent her a message saying, hey, literally, like when I say that this was literally what I said. Hey, you're living the lifestyle that I want to live. Will you teach me?
Oh my gosh. And
that's it.
That.
That's it. It was that simple. And she said, absolutely. That's what I love to do.
Well, and I think too, right? Like, because, you know, I don't want everyone necessarily just like go out there and send that message to a bunch of people. Right. But it's more just like you were showing that you were putting in the work. Right. And that's the thing. It's like when I see people and I can tell that they're trying, like they have put in the work. Maybe they've gotten their first Airbnb or maybe they're like arbitraging or doing something and they're like, we're taking momentum. We're ready to go. And now they're like, I just am kind of stuck right now and like getting to the next level. I don't really know what I'm doing, yada, yada, yada. Versus someone who comes to me and they're not doing anything. They're not even putting any effort in. They're like, hey, can you help me? It's like, well, okay, how many deals have you looked at? What have you done? Right? That makes me believe that you're actually going to put the work in, right? Because the thing is, it's like we love, and I know this, I love helping people who I know are actually going to put the work in versus people who just want to pick your brain and aren't going to do anything about it. Like, no.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yep. And I know she saw that before she like flew out here and all that, she saw that I was putting in the work. We talked, a lot. And, I told her what I was doing, that I have a license and that we had our first Airbnb. And then just so happened that she pairs like how to use Airbnbs to attract relocation clients so you can help sell them a house. And so she put those two pieces, because we were doing Airbnb and we were doing real estate separate. And we didn't realize we could combine the two to where it feeds into one business where it's like, all right, we can use the Airbnbs as lead generation for our real estate, because a lot of people who are moving to Colorado were staying in our Airbnb. And so she put that piece together for us and taught us how to market it and that way, and how to kind of capture those leads. And attract, people to our Airbnb that were moving to the area. And so it just so happened that we were a perfect fit for her to mentor me, because we were already set up to implement her type of business model.
Yeah.
And then, once that happened, then it was like, okay, now we are capturing real estate deals that were 10,000, 15,000 a piece. And then that gave us the capital to start expanding, because we got 7 deals our first year, which is pretty good for new agents. 7 deals our first year. And now we're doing over 40 a year. So
that's
it's
wild. That is amazing. Well, yeah. And so I got my real estate license, and this was while I was working my corporate job. So part-time, I think my first year I sold about 4 or 5 properties. I don't remember, but it was like a hustle. It's when people don't realize to get those few properties, it's a hustle. And especially I remember I was working part-time. So it was after work and during lunchtime trying to see property.
It's a lot.
But it's once you've got your momentum under you and you've got your systems down and you understand how to generate leads, that's when you can really start moving. So I love that you say that, because, a lot of people, I think they see things like selling sunset and they're like, ooh, glamorous real estate agents make so much money. But it's you don't want to understand, there's a hustle behind it.
There's a lot of hustle behind it. I wish it was like selling sunset.
I know, right?
Amazing. I love it. It's that'd be great. A lot of times it is not glamorous at all. A lot of times you're there's some days where I'd love to document them and put them on social media so people could actually see what's going on.
Oh my gosh,
scrubbing toilets and
you should document it and put it on social. People love that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, people love to see that. I remember when we changed out a toilet in Virginia at one of our properties, people loved the content.
Oh yeah, yep. It's that's all not all glitz and glamour for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell me, so you went from 7 to 40 properties after a year. How did that happen, right? Because a lot of people kind of stay stagnant. I know people who are real estate agents and they do about, 5 to 10 transactions a year, and they've been doing that for 5 to 10 years, and that's just the norm, right? Or maybe one a month. But you went from 7 to 40. So what was that big jump to? Because, that is now your active income that you can put into passive real estate and stuff like that. So yeah, tell me what happened in that jump. Okay, so do I have something exciting happening for you? So if you have been trying to get into real estate investing, but you find yourself stuck in analysis paralysis, maybe you just don't know where to start or what your next steps are, this event is going to be for you. Now, I do not do this often, but I am going to be hosting a free, and I mean 100% absolutely free, live masterclass on September 17th on how you can get started investing in real estate by the end of 2024. Because y'all, we are already halfway through the year, people, okay? Approaching Q4 at this point, and there is so much time for you to make this real estate investing goal of yours a reality. I also think this is going to be my last free masterclass of the year. So this is going to be the last opportunity that you will have to come and learn from me live and get all of your questions answered by yours truly. Now it is time for you to get into the room with people doing exactly the thing that you want to do. So if you want to come to this completely free live event, DM me the word freedom on Instagram or click the link in the show notes to sign up there. And I will see you there. I'm so freaking stoked. Now let's dive back into the show.
Yeah. So a lot of things happened. It wasn't just like one thing. So, we went from, that first year, we only had one Airbnb as a lead generation source. Now we have about 30 Airbnbs as lead generation sources that are all bringing us, closings, every year. And then we also, it took us a little while, but we set ourselves apart from all the other 30,000 agents here in Colorado by picking a niche. So we picked a niche where the Airbnb experts, the handle on Instagram is the Airbnb agent, and so we branded ourselves as the Airbnb experts. And then we went to local investor meetups and, we told them who we are, what we do. And so then we became really popular with the investor crowd in Colorado because we help investors find high performing Airbnbs. So we look at, we combine the MLS data with Airbnb data and we show them like, hey, if you buy this house, there's all these Airbnb comps. This is how much you're likely to bring in. This is going to be your mortgage and expenses. And this is how much you're going to clear every month. And so we break down the numbers for them and we show them how to, because a lot of people just want to turn their long-term rentals into Airbnbs, but they're not necessarily going to be successful if they're not in the right area, if there's no comps to back it up. You're kind of taking a chance there. Also with like legislation and all that, you want to make sure that you're doing it in the right place. So we help them find, good home run Airbnbs, and they buy them specifically for Airbnb. And then we even help them set it up. And we don't charge extra for this. This is in our commission, right? It's like, all right, if you buy a house with us and we're getting a commission off of that, which, they don't have to pay either because the seller pays the commission. We'll even help you. We'll go above and beyond after closing and we'll help you stage the property. We'll help you get the pictures. We'll help you set up your listing, and so we do all of this stuff. That most agents don't do. It's like, all right, most agents, like once the deal's done, you
like,
never hear from them again.
Right.
It's like, they're gone. Right. Yeah. It's like, all right, we help you basically set up your Airbnb business, get you going. And we help you find like high performing Airbnbs. So the investors, we got really popular with the investors. And then they'd buy like 3 or 4 houses with us, 5 houses. And then they tell their friends and then refer their friends, to us. And so it was just, that's how we really exploded. And then we started getting referrals, word of mouth. We do a little online marketing here and there, but the big bulk of how we get business is Airbnbs, word of mouth.
That's huge. Yeah. That's huge. And that's the thing. It's like you have such a special niche product that other people are not offering, right? And so you can really differentiate yourselves. And I love that you're targeting to relocation clients, right? Because there are, especially in today's day and age, people are moving around all the time. People are working remotely. Yeah. People are moving for work sometimes now, or like people went remote and then the office told them they had to come back. And so now they're like having to move or whatever that looks like. And a lot of the time, like those people are looking for a permanent residence afterwards too. So it's like another like specific source of income, which is just so awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's crazy how well the business model works. It's like, it's just, it's so seamless. Like it's just great.
I love that. So I guess for you, what do you feel like has made you incredibly successful, like over the past few years, right? Because some people do start this and then they just kind of give up after a year or 2 years. Or what do you think has like allowed you to just keep going?
So definitely community. I think if I didn't have community, I'm a very disciplined person and I'm very like, all right, like self-accountable. I can do it. I grew up that way because I was homeschooled. I was kind of in charge of making sure I got my school done every day. However, in business, there's some days it doesn't matter how much discipline you have. You're going to want to quit. Yep. It's a lot. Some people don't realize all the stuff you have to deal with and it can be a lot and it'll push you to your breaking point many, many times. And if I didn't have community, if I didn't have mentors, I didn't have a close circle of friends that were, encouraging me to keep going, I wouldn't have made it. I would have given up a long time ago. Because just trying to keep myself accountable, I would have been like, no, I'm out. But you know, I had my mentor being like, hey, look at what I built. You can do this. Yes, the first 2 years sucks. Yes, there's going to be lots of rejection. You know, yes, you're not going to get paid for 16-hour workdays for a while. You know, all of these things. But it's worth it. You just have to stick with it. I'm like, are you sure? And it's like, yes, you can do this. And so I think what made me successful, and still to this day, I have a really good community of people around me. I go to their events, you know, I'm a part of, it's the Final Percent, is the community I'm a part of, just a personal growth, like group. And they're here in Colorado. And so they hold like about 4 events a year, sometimes more. And so I make sure I go to their events. I plug into the Facebook group, you know, and I talk to them, and they're so encouraging. It's like, all right, if you're struggling with anything, they will help you through it. And if I didn't have that, it definitely would have made it. So I'd say the most like important part of me becoming successful today was the people that I surrounded myself with.
I love that. And, you know, it's so important because it's so funny. So I have my coaching program, right? And so many people will come to me. They're like, yeah, I've been trying to find a property for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and I still haven't purchased my first one. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you haven't been surrounding yourself with other people who are doing it. Plain and simple. And you just quit. That is just what it is, you know?
You have to surround yourself with the people that are doing the stuff that you want to do, which is why I found when I was searching for my mentor, I reached out to the person who was doing what I wanted to be doing.
Yes.
Because it's like, if that's who you surround yourself with, that's who you're going to become.
Exactly. So, no, I love that. And like literally you are a testament of that. And I love that you know, especially, I especially love that your first event that you went to had the greats like Ed Milet and Lewis House. I'm like, because I'm always looking at like, ooh, are they hosting an event soon? Like, should I go to one? Like, that's like one of the few events where I'm like, ooh, I would totally go now.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I'm like, what are the chances, right? It's like there's so many events out there. I can't believe that my very first one was like the greats absolutely just like the floor, you know, like these amazing. And it's like, what I would kill to be in the room with them again, like now knowing who they are and like what they do. And, but yeah, it was really cool first experience.
I love that. So I guess for anyone out there, you know, who maybe they have kids in college or maybe they're in college, what's some advice that you could give to someone who maybe is, you know, kind of chugging along? And it's not even people at college, like even people at work right now. They're just chugging along. They're doing the thing. They don't feel lit up. They kind of know deep down that this isn't for them. What's some advice you could give to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say if you feel like you were meant for something more, if you're searching for something more, you know, deep down, that's like, all right, maybe you're a creative person and your job and your school isn't allowing you to be creative. Don't ignore that. Don't push that down, because it's like you're going to be left feeling unfulfilled. You're probably going to get burned out. You know, it's, that leads to depression and all this stuff. And it's like, life is too short. You know, yes, it's scary. Yes, you're going to step out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable. You just kind of got to get used to being uncomfortable. And stepping out of that comfort zone, because that's where the real magic is. And I promise you it's worth it. Like, I know you have a vision inside of you. You have this feeling. Maybe it's in your gut, heart, head, wherever it's at. You feel it, because I felt it too, you know? And my advice is just don't ignore that. You can be smart about it. You know, it's like, all right, I made a deal with myself, right? It's like, all right, I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time to try this, right? But also keep in mind that when I did try it, I gave it my all. I didn't like half it. You know, it's like, all right, if I'm going after something, I give it 100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you feel like you have this dream or you're meant to do something bigger, just give it a shot, you know, give yourself some room to be able to do that, but give it 100%. Don't like, oh, I'm going to try this. and then only give it like 50%. And
Yeah.
then like, oh, it didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Tell me like, all right, it wasn't meant to be, be prepared to put in the work and to really to make those dreams a reality, because it's worth it. Like, you get one life, you get one shot, and it's like, just go for it. It's worth it. It's like, but make sure you have that community around you that's supporting you. If you have, people that when you tell them what you're, trying to do and pursue, and they say, "Oh, are you sure you want to
Oh my
do
gosh,
that?"
that's the killer of dreams.
That's, like, why don't you just play it safe? Like, you don't need those people in your life. Like, find the people that are like, yes, go for it. And they're supporting you through it. And they're like, all right, keep going, because they see the vision, they see where you're going, and they're happy. They clap when you succeed, right? You need those people. Otherwise you won't make it. But don't let that go to waste. That's because I almost did. I almost ignored it because it was scary. And still to this day, like, yes, I built this stuff, but there's still things that I want to work towards and become. And it still scares me. Like, it's never not going to scare you to level up, to become better, to keep growing, to take those chances. But it's so worth it, because every time I do take that chance, that step, something amazing always happens.
Yep.
I'm always a step closer to where I want to be. And it's whether that's in health, whether that's in business or relationships. I mean, it's for all areas of life. It's not just, in a business sense. So,
yeah. So I guess what is something that you're working towards leveling up to right now?
Yeah. So what I'm working on is, my next stage is coaching and speaking. So becoming a public speaker. So those are the two things that I'm working on right now. Is kind of heading in that direction. And mostly helping young people become like the best versions of themselves, and coaching them in real estate, business, relationships, community, health, all of those things that have helped me be who I am today. I have a heart for young people, because when I was starting, there wasn't a lot of young people that I could look up to that were doing what I wanted to do,
Yeah. And
so it kind of made it like, oh, can I achieve this at a young age? Is it not going to happen till I'm, 40? Like, is this, so I kind of want to be that example for young people. Like, hey, this is possible at a young age. You don't have to wait till you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s. Like, you can start at any time, And so that's kind of what I'm trying to level up to now. And it's really scary because I went from being, kind of very much an introvert, like not wanting really to talk to people, to go and speaking on stages is terrifying. Yeah. However, I have that inside of me. I have a message inside of me. I have this passion, and it's like, I can't ignore that. And so I kind of have to put my fears aside and push through it. So that way I can achieve that next level.
No, I love it so much. And I cannot wait to see you on the big stages with Lewis House and Ed Milet and all the other big dogs.
Yes. That would be amazing.
It's going to be fabulous.
It's going to be a good time.
I end every interview with 3 final interview questions. So I'm going to ask them to you right now. The first one is, what does your ideal perfect day look like?
Ooh, I like that question. My ideal perfect day, gosh, I would say it varies, but it'd probably be either in the mountains or on the beach. I love both.
Yes.
Both if possible. The beach with mountains in the background.
I'm like, you gotta go move to Hawaii, girl.
Yeah, I love Hawaii. Oh my gosh, I love Hawaii. But yeah, it would start definitely with like, in the morning, walk on the beach. I'd love to go in the water, whether it's paddleboarding or just swimming. I'd love to start my day off with that. And then I'd love to be able to, have food, probably my workout, and then help people. So like, I'd love to do my coaching, or if I have a speaking engagement, do the speaking. And then, I love, walks. So probably another walk, And, well, I just love taking my dog for walks. It's
I feel
like
that. I'm always walking my dog.
place for me to meditate and just clear my head and think about everything and relax and no distractions. So it's really nice. And then definitely my perfect day would have a lot of food in it. I love food. So probably some like a fresh salad with fish would be perfect for lunch. And then in the afternoon, I would just love to either go. I love dancing. So I'd love to go dancing. I love swing dancing. Or I also ride motorcycles. So like a motorcycle ride would be really nice. And just kind of relax, enjoy the evening, read a good book. I love reading the book, doing the sauna. And then I've been trying to go to bed early. So going to bed like around 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's one of my Achilles heels. I have literally been trying to go to bed early for years now. but like literally I think it was yesterday. I was like, no, I'm committed. 10 p.m. every freaking night. And it's so funny because when I was working my corporate job, especially like before I got into entrepreneurship and stuff, I would go to bed at like 9:30 every single day. Nice. But it's so hard, I find, like as an entrepreneur, because I'm like, my brain's firing all the time. And I'm like, but I can do this and I want to do this. But like, what if I need to learn that, you know?
Yes, exactly. It's so hard to go to bed early. But like my dream day is that I have a great sleep schedule. It's fixed finally. And I can go to bed at 10 p.m. And get a good night's sleep. And so because, that would be amazing. I've been trying to do that for years.
Okay, we're committed today. You're going to bed at 10 p.m.
Yes. We'll do it together. It's like, all right, 10 p.m. going to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that would probably just anything outside, helping people, physical activity, yummy food, spending time with my dog. That's my ideal day.
I love that. Okay, well, question number 2. What is your mantra?
My mantra?
Just like anything that you constantly say to yourself.
You know, I actually have it on my, now that I think of it, I have it on as my lock screen. It's believe you can and you will.
Ooh, I love
I don't know if you
that.
can see that. As it's 444 as I.
Oh my God.
That's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah,
I love that.
Believe you can and you will. That's a huge one for me. It's like anytime that I'm feeling down or it's like, I don't know if I can do this or, have like a meeting with a client and it's a big client, I'm scared, or it's like I'm about to go on stage and it's a bigger audience than I've ever and I get scared. It's like, all right, believe you can and you will. And then it puts me in that headspace of like visualizing, all right, seeing me doing it and just killing it. It's like, all right, if I believe that I can do it, I will. And I don't have to worry. Everything's going to work out.
I love it. Amazing. And then, okay, last question. What does wealth mean to you?
Wealth to me means like abundance. And not just abundance of money. It's abundance of time. Yeah. It's, it's and that time to be able to take care of your health, right? The time to be able to help other people. If you don't have wealth, you can't really take care of yourself. You can't take care of other people. There's not much that you can do, right? And so to me, wealth doesn't mean so much like a lot of money. Because I feel like you could be wealthy in many different areas of your life. You could be wealthy in relationships, wealthy in your health. And so to me, wealth just means abundance of those things.
I love that. Okay, well, so Alysia, where is the best place for people to be able to reach out to you? Maybe they want to learn from you. Maybe they want extra coaching, or maybe they want to book you for a speaking gig.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best place to get a hold of me is probably my Instagram. Just shoot me a follow, shoot me a message. It's at the Airbnb agent. It's on Instagram. And then the link in my bio has a bunch of different ways to connect with me. It has a 15-minute free call. It has all kinds of things on there. It has a link to one of the books that I helped write, to different podcast interviews, all of that stuff. And so, that's the best place to find me. And also shoot me a message on Instagram. It might take me a couple days to respond. I'm not the best at it. However, I will get back to you on there.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Alysia. I know your story is going to inspire so many. And just like, I'm hoping it helps people just take action, because that is like literally the basis of everything, is like you actually followed through and took action.
Mm-hmm. That's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's like, all right, if you just sit there and take action every single day and you follow through, you don't give up, then, you'll be like, the time is going to pass anyway. If 2 years seems like a long time to you, or even if it doesn't, but if it seems like a long time to you to build something, or 5 years seems like a long time, the time is going to pass anyway. So you might as well do something with it.
Yes. So good. So good. Drop the mic. Well, thank you so much, Alysia. This was fabulous.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.